guaranteed. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello,
Hello.
Hello, Goobs. Hello, listener. Welcome to another... I was going to say Spooky Chat. It's not, it's a case.
Yes.
Another episode of Cars of the Macabre. I am going to just get straight on with it because we had a big catch-up in Spooky Chat, didn't we?
Yes, we did. Huge. And this is a British case, isn't it?
This is a British case, and today I'm going to be talking about Ronnie and Reggie Kray, better known as the Kray Twins. My Reggie was named after Reggie Kray, and that's what got me thinking, oh, that would actually be a good case to do. And it's actually very relevant to Cars of the Macabre because the boys did like their cars. So the Kray Twins, who were possibly the most infamous criminals in London's history, during the 1960s, they ruled the streets of London's East End, along with the firm which they were head of, which was the name of their criminal collective.
Criminal Collective.
So they ruled the East End and beyond, to be fair. It wasn't just the East End.
Yeah.
It's just kind of, that was their hub during the 60s. But they became much more than villains. Ronnie and Reggie became national celebrities.
Yes, they did.
And it's sort of the first time that happened over here. It happened in America with Bonnie and Clyde. But it's sort of the first time, really, known gangsters were very much celebrities as well. So let's have a look at their childhood to begin with. Try and find out a little bit about these boys. So Ronnie and Reggie Kray were twins. They were born within 10 minutes of each other on the 24th of October in 1933 in Hoxton, London. The Krays were raised in a 2-up, 2-down Victorian townhouse at 178 Valence Road. I actually meant to look, and I forgot, to see if that was still there, if the original house was still there. I'm not sure. It probably is.
Imagine saying, oh, yeah, I live in the Kray Twins' old house.
Yeah, there must be a plaque up. We have these blue plaques in this country.
Yeah.
Don't we? I wonder if there'd be a plaque up. So Valence Road, which runs for half a mile between Bethnal Green Road to the north and Whitechapel Road to the south. So it's very East End area, and I love the East End of London. At the time, this was an area of extreme poverty, and their father, Charlie Kray, was quite a sporadic presence in the Krays' early lives. He would be in and out of the family house as he was sort of trying to avoid conscription into the army during World War II.
Oh.
Yeah, and the endless police pursuit of their father just kind of cemented a hatred for authority in the boys very, very early on. Because as they were seeing, everything was being disrupted by the authorities.
Yeah.
They were after his dad, Oh, no, Valence Road is not there. That's such a shame.
Oh, it's 178 Valence Road.
What did I say it was?
You got 128 there.
Oh, yeah, no, it is. It's 178 Valence Road.
Whoopsies.
Okay, well, Goob's going to look for it. Anyway, so their mother, Violet Kray, absolutely adored her boys and supported Ronnie and Reggie no matter what.
Demolished in the late 1960s.
Oh, that's so sad. Oh, dear. That's a shame, because I thought that could have gone on our list of places we needed to visit.
This list is never ending at the moment.
To be fair, we're going to do an East London day and do lots of places, so that could have been then.
Yeah.
However, there are some pubs and things that we could see if they're still there.
Interesting.
And I know there is it's a boxing club that's still there. So.
Oh, nice.
So, Violet Kray adored her boys. They literally could do no wrong in her eyes. And she was a consistent figure in their lives. And they absolutely doted on her. They loved her. And with Violet, it was very much a case, like I said, that her boys could do no wrong. And when I was reading reports, she actually kept scrapbooks about the boys
and their crimes.
So, yeah.
Oh, dear.
She was a very supportive mother.
Toxic support.
Yeah, maybe. So they also had other... Oh, my God. Words is hard today. They had an older brother He was also named Charlie. He was 7 years older than Ronnie and Reggie, and they did have a sister, but she died in infancy in 1929, so she died before they came along.
Yeah.
Suddenly had to think of dates then. Both Ronnie and Reggie became amateur champion boxers at a young age, and boxing was very much part of the local culture in the East End. But it was also very much in their family. It was a family sport because both of their grandfathers knew a thing or two about fighting. Although Mad Jimmy Kray, as he was known, was described as the sort of old-style bar fighter it was wisest to avoid.
Like, kind of bare knuckle rather than...
Sounds like it, yeah. But Jimmy Cannonball Lee, who was their maternal grandfather, was once a famed East End boxer. Apparently his left hook earned him his fighting name, the Eastern Southpaw.
Oh.
Then there was Aunt Rose, who Ronnie and Reggie absolutely loved as well. And she was said to have inherited Grandfather Lee's left hook.
Nice.
And was known as one of the East End's most formidable female fighters of the day.
Go for it, girl.
Which is very cool.
Absolutely. I love a girl that can hold her own.
Absolutely. And so they were literally surrounded by boxing, but it was actually the twins' older brother, Charlie, who encouraged them to get into the sport because he hoped that the discipline of boxing would keep them busy.
And on the straight and narrow.
And try and keep them out of trouble. But obviously, as we know, that didn't happen. Reggie was reportedly a calmer, more disciplined boxer, while Ronnie had a desire to win no matter the cost. So there was distinct differences in the boys from early on. So that was very much their personality. Reggie was a little bit more calm and collected, and Ronnie was a firecracker.
Which ones would we be out of those two?
You'd be Ronnie, I'd be Reggie.
Didn't even think.
No. Maybe we should start calling each other Ronnie and Reggie. Yeah, I'll take that. So Reggie Kray was quoted as saying of his boxing, "I could punch hard with either hand, so much so that I broke 11 jaws that I know of." There we go. Yeah. It seems like something you would say, even though I would say you were more Ronnie and I was more Reggie. You know?
It's the calm that I'm not resonating with. The calmness.
That's the thing, you are calm.
I'm calm in a crisis.
Yeah, as am I,
other people's crises.
Yeah.
My own, not so much.
No, I'm generally, but then I'm highly medicated, so, you know. So for a time, it did keep the boys busy, possibly because there was an intense and often violent sibling rivalry between Ronnie and Reggie, which fueled them to adopt those strict boxing disciplines. So they did fight each other quite a lot, and because they were so determined to beat the other one, that they then just...
That's all they focused on.
Exactly. That boxing really became their life.
Like laser focus.
Yes. And despite Charlie Sr.'s sporadic presence early on in their childhood, he did show up to take the boys to Robert Browning Youth Club in South London to take them boxing. And as Reggie later recalled, he used to take us on the number 8 bus from Bethnal Green to Camberwell 3 times a week to train at the club. So he was very much there for them at that point. Ronnie and Reggie later joined the Repton Boys Club, which is in an old Victorian bathhouse. That was established in 1884, and it still trains young fighters today.
Oh, wow.
So that's one of the places we could visit.
It is.
And a poster advertising a fight between the twins still hangs on the wall at Repton.
I mean, it would, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I kind of want to go in there to see that. But also the fact that it's an old bathhouse.
Yeah, that's
cool.
cool.
Been converted into like a boxing...
Gym.
Would you call it boxing gym? Yeah. The twins were first mentioned in the press at the age of 12 when Ronnie and Reggie fought each other and earned a write-up in the Hackney Gazette, and this was their first taste of fame, and they did like it. They liked being talked about, they liked being boys of the town.
That seed has been sown.
Exactly. By their mid-teens, Ronnie and Reggie were earning more local press attention for their exploits in the ring. In 1948, Reggie was the schoolboy champion of Hackney, won the London Schoolboy Boxing Championships, and was a finalist at the Great Britain Schoolboys Championship. The next year, he added the South Eastern Divisional Youth Club title and was London ATC champion. Ronnie also earned awards. He too was a schoolboy champion of Hackney and a winner at the London Junior and London ATC events. One veteran trainer was quoted as saying, "Ronnie was a fighter, the hardest, toughest boy I've ever seen. To stop Ron, oh my God, I'm so sorry. To stop Ron, you'd have had to kill him."
Wow.
Reg was,
At 12 years old.
Reg was different. Before he even started, it was as if he had all the experience of an old boxer in his fists. Once in a lifetime, you find a boy with everything it takes to be a champion. Young Reggie was one of them. So, again, it sounds like Reggie was a little bit more disciplined and Ron was a little bit more
It's a shame because
fiery.
they could have done so much more with their lives in a positive way through sport.
Yeah. And that's the thing, because that particular area was an area of extreme poverty at the time, and there was a big boxing culture, because that was almost could have been a way out.
Yes.
Or a way to improve their lives.
Yeah.
Or, so that's why.
And that kind of thing is still done today as well.
Yeah,
Trying to keep kids off the streets and out of gangs and things.
Yeah, that's it. But
the
twins had always been part of street gangs, and their paths veered towards crime rather than careers in boxing. Age 16, Ronnie and Reggie were charged with grievous bodily harm after attacking a rival gang outside a dance hall in Hackney. But they were acquitted due to lack of evidence and some good words from the local vicar. He was
God
like,
bless
no,
Jesus.
those boys are fine, just let them out, they'll be okay. They've learnt their lesson.
He's choosing his battles.
Yeah. He just got a bit riled up, it's fine. It's just boys will be boys.
Damn scallywags.
Yeah. You can imagine the conversation, can't you?
Now, boys. Naughty.
Now. Slap on the wrist. And this is where we delve into the world of Reggie and Ronnie Kray as our most infamous London gangsters. And I don't know what it is. It's the same, for me, it's the same with Bonnie and Clyde. I found the whole story so interesting.
Yeah.
And I know they did bad things, but I was still on, when I'm watching the films, when I'm reading the books, I'm still on their side.
Yeah.
And I've always been fascinated.
There's a psychology to that, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely fascinated with Ronnie and Reggie Kray. My dad bought me a book all about them when I was in my early teens. So I've literally always had a fascination. And like I said, I named Reggie after Reggie Kray, and me and my ex had a Land Rover, and because I named my cars, and the Land Rover was named after Ronnie. Mm-hmm. So
no, she doesn't write to inmates and
maybe that's how I'll find a date.
Alan, no.
I do.
Don't think.
He wants an experiment to happen.
Do you not think we've had enough trouble in our lives?
Yeah, true.
Please, may we avoid further as much as possible. No, don't. I'm going to hit you.
I don't know why I'm drawn to these people.
I'm putting my foot down.
Okay. I'm scared of you, so fine. But no, it's...
Yeah, she we're this close because, I rule with an iron fist.
Fear. I'm scared of her. I am scared of her. I love her, but I'm scared of her.
She's under duress.
No. I respect you, woman.
Thank you.
You're of fiery
You're probably the only person
attitude.
that does.
Goobs does. Wednesday does.
Only once.
But yeah, what are your thoughts on Ronnie and Reggie Kray? Were you sort of fascinated by the stories? Obviously, you're drawn to Charles Manson stories.
Yeah.
So, what is it? What is it?
I mean, yes, gangs do interest me, but I wouldn't say the most interesting subject matter for me.
Yeah.
But then, having said that, I'm not sure if you know, but Gangs of New York, the film, is actually based on a book, which is based on some of the real life gangs in New York and stuff. And I find gang mentality really interesting.
Yeah.
And obviously, you can see how easy it is to get involved in those kinds of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like Mark says, the confidence is insane when it comes to gangsters.
Yeah.
And whatnot. but it's also how they're perceived, not just as gangsters, but like you say, as celebrities and people that are almost look up to them and stuff, and like, oh, dangerous and wild and enigmatic and all of this lot. So yeah.
Yeah. But what have you been ever sort of specifically interested in the Krays, or not so much?
Not so much.
Okay.
I don't know why. Maybe I don't know enough.
Okay. I mean, there's so much out there about them.
Yeah, I suppose because normally I'm drawn to serial killers.
Yeah.
Rather than
Gangsters.
sort of,
even though gangsters could be classed.
Yeah, but
it's a completely different mentality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And motivation and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm drawn to them, but also I think it's the East London connection. I'm really sorry about myself today. I must have had a former life in East London because I'm drawn to it. I always have been. So maybe I was one of the firm and I'm reincarnated.
Maybe.
That's what I'm going to go with.
But you don't have
that. Believe that.
You don't have that criminality about you.
No. I mean, I like the idea of being a criminal, but I'm too scared of getting caught.
Yeah, I think organised crime for me is... It doesn't draw me in like serial killers.
Okay.
I don't know how or why.
Fair enough. I just wondered if you had any kind of draw to Ronnie and Reggie. So, Ronnie assaulted a policeman outside a cafe on the Bethnal Green Road in 1951, and when another officer arrived to arrest him, Reggie assaulted that officer, and this time the twins ended up spending a month in prison. Whilst they were there, Ronnie and Reggie reportedly dumped a latrine bucket on a sergeant, handcuffed a guard to the prison bars, and set their own beds on fire. They were only there for a month.
Sounds exhausting.
Yeah, the twins had been called for national service at this time, but supposedly they were dishonourably discharged from the army following their aforementioned unruly behaviour in prison. So, like, no, we don't want them. They're too much trouble.
Yeah. Although... in a way, you might want kind of someone with that on the front line. I don't know.
Yeah, but I think they had such a problem with authority.
They would not suited army life. No, they wouldn't have taken it. I can see what you're saying.
They'd be like, they could be some handy fighters, but
yeah, no, they could not cope with military discipline.
To be fair, I didn't like being told what to do. Still don't. That's why I left the brownies, because I was just like, keep telling me what to do.
The brownies are so much... oh my God. Bit different to the army, love. And you think you were on the firm. See, me, I was never a brownie. Now that's rebellion.
Did you not want to be a brownie?
I don't think so, no. I think Mum tried to take me and I wasn't interested.
No. This isn't for me.
I'll screw that for a bag of chips. Yeah, Mark's mum's a brownie leader, was a brownie leader.
Okay.
And his sister does a little bit of it now as well, doesn't she?
Oh, that's cute.
Oh, rainbows, sorry. It's kind of like mini brownies, I think.
Oh, that's cute.
I love how you're trying to compare the brownies to the military.
I wasn't consciously doing that. It just fell out of my mouth, so there we go.
Yeah, I've not always got on with authority. But it can offer structure and discipline. And, you know, they seem to like the discipline of boxing. And in the army, you could box. Uncle Mick boxed for the army.
Yeah.
Played rugby for the army.
Yeah.
They may, you know, if they could have been integrated somewhat, perhaps they could have thrived a bit more.
Yeah.
Under military discipline.
Maybe. We'll never know, will we?
No.
So while making a name for themselves, thanks to armed robbery and hijacking, they also got into the nightclub business, starting out by turning a small rundown club in Bethnal Green into a respectable place to go. And so began their ascent into the London underworld. So I just want to run through a timeline of Ronnie and Reggie Kray's most significant crimes. But just as an FYI, obviously, I've looked at loads of reports. not just recently, but like many years, because I am kind of obsessed with them. And to try and get the dates right, it's quite hard because everyone seems to vary. And also there's lots of things that I am rubbish with dates. Yes, Scoobs, you are right. The sources seem to have the exact same things, but I know there were more from the books I've read and stuff. But anyway, this is sort of a summary, if you will.
Yep.
So
Otherwise it would be here until next week.
Exactly. So in 1956, on the 5th of November, Ronnie Kray was jailed for 3 years for assaulting Terence Martin in a gang-related incident. In 1960, so I mean, you can't tell me that nothing happened between 56 and 60. So, I mean, lots of things would have happened. But so in 1960, in February, Reggie Kray was in prison for 18 months for protection-related threats. They obviously ran a protection racket, so would have been connected with that. 1965, in December, marked a confrontation between the Krays and Richardsons, which were a rival gang, at the Astor Club, when Richardson henchman, George Cornell, called Ronnie a derogatory name pertaining to his sexuality and size. I'm not going to repeat it because it's not very nice. And a gang war soon followed. That's the thing. I think a lot of the things that were going on were between gangs and gangs.
It usually is.
Yeah. I mean, this is very generalised, but from what I know about Peaky Blinders, because I'm also obsessed with Peaky Blinders and the Krays, it was very rare that any civilians or members of the public that were not part of a gang would get involved in any of it or be victims in any of it. Again, that's generalising, don't come for me, but I think that's maybe why I like them more. I don't know. I'm trying to psychoanalyse myself, but I think that's a dangerous thing to do.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah. So, 1966, on the 8th of March, Richard Hart, who was one of the Krays' allies, was murdered at Mr. Smith's club in Catford. And then on the 9th of March, Ronnie took revenge by killing George Cornell in the Blind Beggar public house on Whitechapel Road, which
Blind Beggar.
I want to see if that's still there.
Sorry.
And if it's not there, what is it now? Maybe Goobs can find out. So it was the Blind Beggar public house on Whitechapel Road. So Cornell was with fellow Richardson gang member George Dixon at the time. Reportedly, Dixon remarked, "Look who's here," when the boys walked into the pub. Then Ronnie walked up to Cornell and shot him in front of several eyewitnesses.
See, that is like I don't know whether confidence is the right word, but the brazenness of just walking in to a public area and just shooting someone.
Yeah.
With so many witnesses around and everything like that. It's just like, huh?
Is it still a place?
Still there.
Oh my God, we can add that to this. We have to go there because that was one of the places they frequented was the Blind Beggar. Oh my God, I'm so excited.
Okay, yeah, we'll go there.
Okay, that's...
You know the one place I want to go in the East End, so...
We need to do a list of...
It's turned into a pub crawl at this point.
That's fine. No, I feel like that's okay. We'll do an East London list of places that we want to go to. Mm-hmm. So Reggie held Dixon at gunpoint but let him live. Cornell was taken to hospital but he died. Despite several eyewitnesses, no one dared to testify against the Krays.
See, again, the influence that they have over people to not speak up when, you know, cops could go around and be like, we know you were there, we know you saw something. But they are the fear is so instilled in them that they keep quiet. It's like insane.
That's the thing. I think it's a fear and also very much a loyalty to the boys because they did help a lot of families and a lot of people. So, yes, they did bad things, but they also did some good things. Yeah. They don't outweigh the bad, but it is a loyalty as well as a fear, I think. Yeah. And it was the same with Peaky Blinders as well. So, I was
the Peaky Blinders is based on a real...
Yes. Oh. Yeah, Peaky Blinders were real.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So in 1966, I cannot speak today. On the 12th of December, the Krays helped Frank Mitchell, also known as the Mad Axeman, to escape from Dartmoor prison. But Mitchell became increasingly violent and unstable while staying in London. So it seems that he was staying in a flat they'd sort of put him up in to hide him. And he was just becoming too mad and axeman-like, perhaps. He then disappeared.
Never to be seen or heard of again?
It's thought the firm were responsible for Mitchell's disappearance and suspect death, but his body was never found. So it's all surmising.
That's another thing that is wild, the fact that they can get rid of people and they're not found. Not necessarily, well, yes, the Krays, but like gangs can do that.
Yeah. Yeah. In 1967, in October, Jack the Hat McVitie was killed by Reggie Kray at a party in Stoke Newington after Jack had failed to fulfil a contract killing for the Krays brothers, but he'd kept the money anyway. So
big no-no.
Yeah, that really
How you
annoyed
think
them.
you could get away with that is beyond me.
Right? Not that he had it coming, but in their eyes,
He
was
had
like,
it coming,
Right, okay.
yeah.
So Reggie actually tried to shoot him, but the gun failed, so he stabbed him repeatedly in front of a room full of people instead.
Let me guess, they didn't see anything.
Didn't see nothing.
Didn't see nothing.
But then on the 9th of May in 1968, after a year of collecting evidence and talking to witnesses, the police finally arrested the Kray Twins along with 15 other members of the firm. So I guess it took them that long to just piece enough together.
So it wasn't just circumstantial or hearsay or,
Exactly. This encouraged more witnesses to come forward with more evidence, and Ronnie and Reggie were both sentenced to life imprisonment with a non-parole period of 30 years for the murders of Cornell and McVitie.
Do you know, I'm surprised they even were going to allow them to go up for parole.
Yeah. At that time, it was the longest sentences ever passed at the Central Criminal Court in London. The twins were allowed out of prison to attend their mother Violet's funeral. But because they were so well known, there was so much publicity about them attending the funeral. When their father died, they didn't go to it because it was a
I want
circus.
to say, wasn't one of them in Broadmoor when his mum died?
So Ronnie Kray died in Broadmoor Hospital, aged 61, on the 17th of March in 1995 after a heart attack. Reggie was actually released from prison in August of 2000 on compassionate grounds due to having inoperable bladder cancer, and a few weeks later he died, aged 67. So they weren't very old when they died.
No.
There's obviously a ton of pop culture documenting and dramatising Ronnie and Reggie Kray, including the film Legend.
Tom Hardy.
Is my favourite one, starring Tom Hardy, who plays both the twins, which in of itself is genius.
Yeah.
And it's my favourite of all the Kray films. There's been so many, but that is my favourite without a doubt.
Wasn't there like a TV, like, not necessarily series, but like several episodes on TV with Sheridan Smith?
Oh, quite possibly. There's almost too many to count the amount of kind of
because I've seen that one.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I've seen that. That's interesting. Oh yeah, 2012 TV drama.
Mrs. Biggs.
Oh no, that's about Ronnie Biggs' train robber from the Great Train Robbery.
Oh, right, got it wrong.
Wrong Ronnie.
Wrong Ronnie.
I can't even say that sober.
Sorry, got that completely wrong.
But what I want to talk about is their car collection. Because the boys did like their cars. And most people know the story of the Krays.
Yeah.
If you don't know the story of the Krays, there's 1,000,001 books, films.
You
all
will
the
find
things.
it.
It's so interesting. I find it really fascinating. But during their reign, the Krays were known to have a fleet of cars that got them around London. I couldn't find a definitive list. There was sort of lists saying they had loads of cars, including da-da-da-da-da, and it was the same cars over and over again.
Right.
So I think I will look further into it and see if I can find a definitive list, because I want to know exactly what they had. But it included a Jag Mark X, which later became the 420G, which was the biggest and most luxurious jag that money could buy at the time. Mm-hmm. Obviously. Because they're gangsters.
And they're the Krays.
They're the Krays. The Krays also had a Ford Galaxy, not the 7-seat MPV people carrier.
Just tootling around East London.
Not one of them.
In a Ford Galaxy.
Yeah, it's not one of them. Instead, it was actually the huge American car with a V8 engine, which they would have had imported from the USA, which was a big deal back then. And apparently the Krays also had a couple of Ford Zodiacs. The Galaxy's amazing. Ford Zodiacs are really lovely cars. I'd love to have a Zodiac. And they had a Rolls-Royce Silver Cloud. They had many more cars as well, but they were kind of the sort of main ones. And because Ronnie and Reggie had a fleet of cars, they also had a dedicated mechanic to look after them. And I'm going to talk about him a little bit. His name was Bernie Feynman. And he did an interview with the Mirror Online. I know it's not the greatest source, but it's very much him talking. So there's not a lot of opinion in there. It's just him talking about his experiences with the Krays. And it's really, really interesting hearing it from his point of view. So Bernie met the twins in the bar called Blind Beggar in Whitechapel, which we're going to go to. And recalls, they said, "Let me buy you a drink." I said I wasn't a drinker. They said, "Get him a whiskey." He goes on to say, "I was about 18 and at the bar were two immaculately dressed guys. Their shoes were polished until they shone. They were very striking, but up close you could see the broken noses and the slightly cauliflower ears. You could just tell." So Bernie, who now co-presents Channel 5's Classic Car Rescue, at the time was a trainee mechanic whose parents struggled to put food on the table. And in his interview, he said that meeting the Krays changed everything for him. They offered him the chance to service the firm's cars, including their own flashy Jags and Rolls. And from that day until the twins' 1969 life imprisonment for 2 murders, Bernie became their mechanic and the man who cleaned up their mess.
Oh, when you say the man that cleaned up their mess?
Relating to cars.
Okay.
So he was often called in the early hours of the morning. He would collect motors with dubious dents and blood on them. Bernie was expected to fix them up and keep stum. Do your job and don't talk about it.
Has he ever spoken out about...
He's actually written a book. Oh, there you go. He's written a book, so that's kind of about his time in the motor trade.
Yeah.
But he has done interviews about his time because he speaks very fondly of the Krays because they did change his life.
Yeah.
So you can find lots online. He said, "I would get called day and night and told there'd been an accident and the car needs moving. Even if it was 3 a.m, I didn't hang around because I knew those guys needed it moving ASAP. It was my job to clean up."
They not make him an accomplice?
Only if they can prove something.
Well, he's just...
I mean, I don't know the law. But it's just him, it's just, I don't know. I don't know how to express what
Well, I
I'm
suppose you
saying.
can't prove that an accident... If they
Can't
couldn't
prove it wasn't an accident. Yeah, exactly. There would be damage where you knew it wasn't another car, seats would be ripped up, but I didn't feel guilt. I was a mechanic, it was not my business. He goes on, business was business, and these people weren't just loyal customers, they were dangerous ones too, so you just got on with it and kept your mouth shut.
Yeah.
Ronnie and Reggie paid him well, they offered him protection and welcomed him into the fold, and for that, Bernie adored them.
I suppose as well, they probably would have had some sort of police people on their payroll as well.
Quite
during
possibly,
that time, yeah.
More than likely.
Yeah.
They gave me a life, he added emotionally. The Krays were hard men. They were tough and ruthless businessmen, and if you upset them, they would upset you, he says. But they were gentlemen. We never had a pot to pee in, but they paid me so I could afford to put roast beef and chicken on my parents' table. They would give me an extra £1 note and say, make sure you get your mum some flowers and your dad some tobacco. And they'd make sure I got a lift home. That was respect. And Bernie admits, I was addicted to it, the money, but also knowing that if I had a major problem, they could help. I felt protected. They only did good to me. They did bad stuff, they hurt people, but I was happy to be part of their family. If they were still alive today, I would still be working for them. Growing up in a council flat in Bow, East London, he and his younger brother watched their parents. His mum was a welder, which I think is very cool, and his dad, a bare-knuckle fighter, really struggle. So Bernie's life could have been very different if he hadn't worked for the Krays. Bernie was expelled from school twice. The second time, at 13, he then went on to get an apprenticeship in a local garage. It was his mate Jimmy who initially introduced Bernie to one of the Krays' firm, a man he calls Bill, with a menacing facial scar, apparently, in Krays' Haunt the Blind Beggar. Jimmy knew some faces, Bernie says. You just got to know who was a face, someone who worked within other people, who would call in favours. You wouldn't say no, it was better for everyone. We got talking and Jimmy said, if you ever need your cars done, ask Bernie. Bill asked if he could, if Bernie could look at his Triumph Mayflower. I checked it over, washed it, and he was really pleased. Bill soon introduced Bernie to the Krays, and over a whiskey, they grilled him. They asked me where my family lived, where I worked, if I had any brothers, he recalls. If you did work for them, you were part of their family. They were sussing me out. I pooped a brick. It's not what he said. It was the I can't even...
Sugar, honey, iced tea.
Yeah, exactly. Bernie began servicing a couple of the firm's cars a week. They were Armstrong Sidley Sapphires, Standard Vanguards, Ford Zodiacs, nice cars, he grins. I found knuckle dusters, baseball bats, iron bars and chains. Once a door had buckled, it wouldn't shut. The hinge had hair on it. I think they had slammed it on someone's head. Oof. He was once asked to pick up a car at 4 a.m. and was stopped by the police. Bill called him the next day. He said, good lad, you kept your mouth shut. Because they just know straight away, don't they? They like literally know everything that's going on. Another time, he thinks the firm was testing his loyalty. They said there was a noise in one of the cars behind the dash. I never heard anything, but I found a wad of cash, £100, behind the glove box. I phoned the blind beggar straight away and asked for Bill, and he told him that he'd found the money. Yeah. So, yeah, they were obviously testing him. Bernie also serviced cars for Mad Frankie Fraser, who spent 42 years in jail. He asked me to increase the power of a car for a smash and grab. Many years later, when he was an old man, we met again. He looked right at me and said, I did a smash and grab once and the car broke down. Was that you? His eyes were dead. They always were. And I said, no.
Nope, not me.
Not me,
Wrong person.
somebody else. Bernie saw the Krays and their cronies enjoy a celebrity status, as we've mentioned before. Yeah. They were celebs. They never looked unhappy. They'd be laughing in the pub with loads of friends around them. Barbara Windsor would be there having a drink and a laugh, he says. And Diana Dawes would sometimes join them. She didn't walk, she floated. I like that.
Yeah, graceful.
But when the Krays murdered Jack the Hat McVitie, who failed to carry out contract killing, the police closed in. I was interviewed by a detective sergeant who asked me what I saw in the back of the cars, Bernie recalls. The boot, I replied. And his words to me were, listen, you cocky little foof. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I can't say the real word. This is a murder investigation. Keep your smart-ass remarks to yourself and answer the questions. I replied, I do my job and I do not take notice of anything else. After 20 minutes of this, realising I wasn't going to crack, he told me to pee off before he changed his mind. So, see you later. It was obviously not going to say anything, so they're like, well,
yeah.
And they
my life wouldn't be worth living if I was to say anything, utter a word.
And the police obviously had a lot of experience of people going, no, didn't see anything, mate. So, yeah, they knew if they weren't going to speak then, they were never going to speak. Yeah. So, when the Krays were jailed, it felt like a bereavement to Bernie. I felt sad and mixed up, he said. I wrote to them once a month for 6 or 7 months, but they never wrote back.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, he adds, I wanted to do it. Like I said, they gave me a life. Bernie now presents a classic car rescue, as I've said, and that is sort of all I've got on the Krays and their connection with the cars and Bernie. And I thought that was a nice kind of version of that case, because everybody knows about the Krays, but not everybody knows about their cars or their mechanic.
Yes.
Who is now on the telly.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
How things change.
How things change. And like I said, like because I didn't put two and two together. And then as soon as I saw a classic car, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I recognise him, like I've seen him before. But it's just so interesting. Imagine having a drink with him and all the stories about the good old days.
Yeah.
And, you know, the amount of things he saw and experienced. And like you said, the Krays changed his life and his family's life.
That's the thing with people like the Krays. They have, in one respect, a heart of gold for the people that respect them. Mm-hmm. You know, they'll give that respect back.
Yeah.
But there is always, obviously, then that harsh, for want of a better, you know, it's an understatement, harsh side as well. So you're kind of torn. I mean, ultimately, they did wrong.
Bad things, yeah.
But then you get the glimpses of the nice things and stuff, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, I know. And that's in my mind, that's what I cling to. And I'm like, oh, that's so nice.
Yeah.
I just
It doesn't matter that they killed someone.
forget about all the other stuff.
But then, you know, it's possible that on the other side, on the other gangs and stuff, you have people like that as well.
That's
But
the thing.
it's literally, it's the rivalry, and it's the doing wrong against the other.
Yeah. Or punishing their own kind like they did with Jack the Hat.
Yeah.
Doesn't make it okay.
No.
Like, don't come for me. But it's different in my mind.
It's
I don't know why.
bizarre how it works.
Yeah.
You know, they can love their family, their friends and things like that and still do bad things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. And I think that's the difference, isn't it? It's not just random spree killing. It's all very...
It's organised crime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally.
It's organised
The
crime.
clue is in the title, Helen.
I think, yeah, it's how they make a living. And again, like you say, it doesn't make it right.
It doesn't make it right. But also, it was a very different time. They grew up in an area of poverty and they didn't want to continue down that way. So they did some stuff.
Yeah. They did what they felt they had to do.
Yeah.
And by the sounds of things, what they enjoyed doing. Again, that doesn't make it okay.
Don't for us.
Don't do crime.
Yeah. But I mean, if you haven't seen Legend, watch it. It's so good.
I haven't actually seen it.
What?
No.
I did not know. Goobs, have you seen
Of course
Legend?
he's not seen it.
Have you seen it?
You actually have seen it.
Oh my God, Goobs actually seen... I can't believe you haven't seen
Mark's
it,
seen a
babe.
film I haven't seen.
It's so good.
I know. I have always meant to watch it.
It is.
And I just
don't know if it's
hasn't.
still on Netflix. It wasn't Netflix.
To be fair, we'll be able to find it. It's fine.
Yeah, we have ways and means. Yeah. Anyway, so that's it. That's the Cars and Macabre take on the Krays. Roger and Rennie. Rennie?
Rennie?
Oh my God.
Has he got indigestion?
Ronnie and Reggie. I do apologise. No disrespect to the boys. I cannot adult speak today. Words is hard. Words is very hard. But
Words is hard.
words is hard. I'm sticking with it.
Okay. Not words are hard.
Words are hard.
Well, to be fair, if words is hard fits with words being hard for you right now.
So, but I enjoyed doing that because I enjoyed looking at it from a different angle and reading Bernie's interview as well.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel heavy.
No, not too heavy because I just thought they were cool. Soz about it. That's just how it is. That's who I am as a person.
Yeah, I get it.
Not even going to blame side effects. That's just who I am as a person.
Yep.
So, a massive thank you to Park Lane Studios, which is Mark's thing. And he basically produces everything. He does the visuals, the sound, the lighting, cameras, social media, all the things. He's basically in charge of us. The only thing we do is turn up and talk and do research on our cases. But he's even done research on some cases as well.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for that. You can find us and all our links on Linktree/Cars the Macabre. We are on PowerTube TV on Tuesday nights. We are going to be at Incan Engines in July. Make sure you check them out. And when you listen to us or watch us, like, subscribe, download, review, share, comment. Just share the love, because the more people who hear us, the more likely we are to be able to do sort of dark tourism trips and then report back and document them on social media.
Yeah.
So
We'll be able to go on location.
yes, help us be weirder. That's what we want.
Yeah. You'd think we wouldn't need any more help. Well, we wouldn't need any help
No.
being weird. Alas, we could be weirder.
We could be weirder, I feel.
We could be doing weird fun things.
Yes.
Yeah.
And sharing the weirdness
Yeah.
with everybody. So I think I've covered everything.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed that, you guys.
Yeah, no, I did. It was nice to, like you say, sort of delve into their car collection.
Yeah, exactly. I know that some of them have been up for auction in the past, and that would be the holy grail, to own one of the Krays cars.
Yeah.
So if anybody would like to gift that to me...
We're not adverse to gifts.
We're not adverse to gifts, and it means we could start a Cars of the Macabre museum. How cool would that be?
I would love to work in a
Right.
museum. Our own museum, even better.
Definitely. So maybe that's something for the future. So if you want to gift us anything like that, go right ahead. And until next time,
Stay spooky, bitches!